Adam, awesome to get on with you. So where'd you come from? Because you're now a Groupon groupie.
Yeah. So I'm just a university student in Manchester. I actually found out about you from private credit.
Awesome.
So I may have a future in asset management, hopefully in private markets. So it was quite relevant. So I was interested in learning. And then I saw the Groupon stuff and I was quite wary. But as a student, I couldn't put and didn't want to put any significant capital behind it. So I thought, why not look at their job descriptions and postings and then what they're looking for, just try to do it myself.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. So what we're going to get into today is redesign for the app, something that management's not super eager to do because they've had so many problems, all the changes, um, and hiccups along the way. These guys are risk takers, the Pale Fire, Doosan and team, but they're probably pretty scarred over the past 2 years, even though they've done all the hard work, and this is really easy. So do you want to pull up what you designed? I was talking about this. All of a sudden, Adam's like, holy, like, I'm like, damn, you beat me to it.
Sure. I don't know how quick I can get it to hand. Um,
Just, you could probably screen share.
yeah.
Actually, hold on.
It's on my PC, so if you've got it, because I'm on my laptop right now.
I'm gonna go to, if you can pull it up, I can pull it up. Would you send it to me on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Oh, I've got it on Gmail actually.
Okay. Because I want to show people first, like what we're dealing with. Okay.
Hmm.
You redesigned the app, correct? Not the website.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm still just gonna share this. Okay, you see it?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
this is the current website.
I like my little email there. It's a very funny insider joke. Um, so this is like very 2003, and I think that's pretty easy to point out. And the fundamentals of the company are great. They could be so much better though. And
Mm.
people think like this company's going out of business, and then you see it's free cash flow positive and it's trading at cheap multiples, and it's like it's fine. This reads to me like a magazine coupon book. It's, you know, the recommendations is horrendous.
Yeah.
Um, some of this stuff, like, I've never bought anything on Groupon, at least under this account, maybe in the early Groupon years. Not seeing any like actually super bad recommendations. I used to see
Lip
lip
filler.
filler.
Yeah.
What?
Lip filler you got right.
Yeah, the lip filler. So still, Brazilian wax, like, I don't know, maybe a man in a Speedo would be a better one. You know, if I don't understand, right? Like I'm logged in with my Gmail,
Mm.
which I'm not too sure I want to, fuck, I'm like sort of doxing myself in every sort of way right now, but who cares? Um, but they should know I'm a 31-year-old male, right?
Mm.
So like, why am I not getting that? So you saw it pretty early, and I want to switch over to having you share now.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a little bit how do I switch over? Host tools to share. Oops, share settings. Can you request? Or
Uh,
or do you or
it
do
says
you or do
you've
you
disabled attendee screen sharing.
okay. Hold on.
But you can show it if you've got it to hand.
Yeah, how do I stop sharing? Okay, I'm just gonna pull it up so I don't dox anyone else. Um, there's Wait, where'd you send it to me? Oh, you sent it right here. Perfect. Copy. Um, okay. Got the HTML loaded. Copy. Boom. Okay. I'll go back to it and then we can walk through it for you. Share.
Also, another thing with the website that I'm not sure if you've touched on much is that although it does look very 2003, that's not so much what everyone has problems with that they're voicing. They have problems with the payment, the customer service, and things like that.
Yeah.
So even if they wanted to keep it so that it's not a whole new system for the older customers, they can still fix the payment and the customer service. Apparently, the customer service is rooted really deeply. So to talk to a real person, it's hard and it really annoys people.
Yeah,
Like they've
yeah.
got 1.5 stars on reviews.io. Like, how's that possible? You know what I mean?
I completely agree. I came out with this tweet. I assume you saw.
Yeah.
Okay. So, um, on this, where's the 2 out of 3 of those things? Right. So what you're talking about is the 2/3 of the, refresh that will not affect legacy, loyal customers. We got to appreciate that. That's, what's driving probably 80+% of Groupon's revenue. Um, we want to make it as easy as possible for them. So if we made the checkout, the friction, all of that stuff, that absolutely you could look on Reddit. Reddit's all over Groupon now. If we made that smoother, then we could also transition them. And, like I remember when I was a kid, my mom threw out my favorite couch that I jumped on. Like she was like, I'm getting you a new couch. A couch is a piece of shit. And I'm like, no, I was so used to it. But, like it's just friction. This kind of
Mm.
stuff, we're getting rid of friction, right? So you might be able to build the lead with these customers. Oh, this is better. And then you give it a new look and they don't care. Also, you could do these 2/3 and conversion goes up and revenue goes up. I think a lot of people are focused on user growth, which surprisingly is growing for Groupon. But you can just get more revenue from each customer to get growth.
Mm.
Um, so, if the checkout's a little bit better and the conversions are a little bit better, and maybe people that see an ad go through and don't hop off because of the friction, then you're playing with a lead. So I agree with you on the 2/3. Um, uh, the login payment friction, like it consistently logs me out on Groupon. I don't get it whatsoever. Like I just click in and it'll log me out. I click in and it'll log me out. And
I mean, the same thing happens on mispriceassets.io.
really, well,
Yeah,
you refresh it.
every time I have to put Adam my email in.
Well, yeah, you have to put your email in, but I can do probably cookies there. I could probably fix that a little bit. But also you could just save your email. So
I
then
do it. What the keep me logged in?
yeah, so the key, okay, I'll fix that. I'll fix that. I'm okay. I'll fix Groupon and my Substack dashboard where you can see all my trades and risk analytics. But yeah, that friction pisses people off, right?
Mhm.
Um, so we can fix that. And then I think, just a refresh to how it looks. Like I get that people aren't saying that this looks 2003, but the tech guys, the venture guys I'm looking at, sometimes the consumer doesn't quite know what would make them happiest. Like that's typical Steve Jobs, right? So I want to go through, just get a quick glance of what you did. Um, which is not a massive change, right?
Mhm.
But this is really important right here. We see on the left, what are you into? Like if you can't get it from your Google login, it would be so much better. You could just say skip for now. It's really no friction, but in reality, like, you can click, um, like wellness and spa is huge for them. But what if I'm not interested in that? Food, fitness, nightlife. That's brilliant. Um, and then the recommendation algorithm, which they have 16 years of customer data, right? Over,
Mhm.
like almost 20 years of customer data. So that's a gold mine. They just have to use it a little bit more effectively. Um, yeah, this is actually pretty cool. I didn't realize it scrolled because I was looking at it.
It's sick, right?
Yeah.
You
So
can
have you done
click,
this
you can
before?
scroll.
Let's let,
Uh,
let's let's talk about the work that goes into this because, you know, um, like how much time did you spend and how much money did you spend to do this?
um, 6 hours, 25 pounds Claude code.
in
Six
6 hours.
hours with a 2 hour break in between because I ran out of credits. I
Okay, so
basically,
so if we're talking about like I joke around, you know, if I was the CEO of Groupon, I'm hiring you, I'm hiring nine more friends, and we're running this company. You know, like they have 800 engineers. You know, what I would suggest is start to like, okay, you have the people in the back end, fine, but like, put a group of five on one project, a group of five on another project and just try to make it more startup, horizontal and just see
mm,
what people come up with. But, as small shareholders in this company, we're doing it for you, 25 pounds in 6 hours, right?
I
So
mean,
it's not hard.
this was my first ever time using Claude Code or designing something. First of all, first time, like they've got developers. I looked at the website and what they were trying to hire for, and it was AI integration. And it literally says in the job description, we want you to use AI tools and mainly use AI tools. And one of them was Claude Code. So I saw that. That was the reason I tried because I was like, oh, they want you to use Claude Code. So I was like, let's see what I can do. Probably 3, 4 hours max of actual prompting. And like I said, just a subscription, and I ran out of credits and had to put £10 on.
How
It's
how
really
gr-
easy.
how great was that? Wasn't it kind of fun once you're like,
Mhm.
shit, I can do so much more than I thought.
Oh,
And
I've done so much more today. Outside of Groupon, I've just been deep
it's
research. It's crazy. Claude Code is crazy.
it's addictive. It's awesome. Like I'm talking to tech funds, TMT tech funds, and like it's like, wait, you guys aren't using Claude Code. I mean Claude on a daily basis, and Codex is now good. 5.5
Mm.
is good. If you're not using it on a daily basis, you should be fired, right?
Yeah.
Um, Now, to give Dushan credit, he's like he's a forward-looking smart tech guy, right? He's a turnaround guru. Um, and he's on it. He's on it. But I would encourage him to think about, Adam being a speedboat, like, coming from zero to do this in 6 hours. What are your engineers doing? Are they meeting that bar? Because you have 800 of them. That might be past the marginal utility even. Like if we're not talking about the salaries that they have, like they might actually be detracting from the speed of the company. Um, and worth negative dollars of salary. Um, okay, let's go to the overview. Groupon has a rating split that should not exist. So the iOS is obviously high, and then when you go on Trustpilot, it's 4, and reviews it's 1.5. Consumer is 1.5. Better Business Bureau is that 1 out of 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so
1.5.
obviously the selection biased on piss customer might be lower, but there's plenty to complain about. Everyone understands that what Dushan and team have been, dealing with is a bad rep that they inherited, right? COVID, like not getting refunds in dollars, getting them in Groupon bucks. There's plenty of reviews you'll see out there. Refund trap is, historical one. To give them credit, they used to make a lot of money from like just Groupons would expire, and they decided to push, because it's better for long-term customer relationships and loyalty to like give them a reminder before it expires instead of just collecting all the money.
Mm.
And that was a hit to EBITDA, but I think it shows their long-term view. Customer support, no phone line. By the way, IR is hard, like the customer support needs response, and IR needs to respond to the people like you that reached out. It should be immediately sort of a touch point, like, hey, you're a shareholder, you sent this in, that's pretty cool. We're going to look at it over the next week or two, and we'll get back to you. It shouldn't be like silence, right? You
I
know,
did send it at midnight last night, so it's outside of business hours to be fair. And do you pronounce it Dusan? His
It's
name?
Duchenne. I don't even know how to say his last name. It
Dushan.
looks like Sankpol. I've heard it. I forget it every time. You
Yeah.
know. Um,
He's
uh,
connected with me on LinkedIn. So, because I sent it outside of business hours, and he
Aw-
connected with me. I'm hoping to hear from him in the next Monday onwards, but who knows?
Awesome, awesome. So this could be done, completely agentic. Like, what do I use? American Express, actually American Express, that's a human. WAP's where my Discord is in. Their support bot is awesome. I'm like, guys, just use a support bot if you need any problems, you need to claim your role, whatever. Um, ChatGPT, Anthropic, you could whatever. It would help a lot. It would help a lot. And then you can elevate it to customer support if it's a complex issue to make a judgment call. You shouldn't have low level customer support at this point in time. Um, Notification overload, 100%. 100%. I've gotten so many. Um, Mother's Day reminders, and it's just like let's pick our spots here and let's do it in not a super, 2010 way. Let's be a little bit tasteful on that.
She wants
Uh,
a new couch.
what?
She wants a new couch.
What? What?
You said when she got rid of your couch, you had friction. She
Oh
wants a
yeah,
new one.
yeah. No, it's kind of like a nagging. Like I get it from, my friend has a restaurant and he always sends me texts like every single day. And it's like, I know the restaurant exists. There's like, another like I know every Friday you're doing something. Okay. Um, so there's a tasteful aspect of that. I mean, it's all working,
Mm,
but it doesn't mean that it's the best or optimized. Um, Booking that breaks after payment, logins that break after payment. The analytics foundation is tier one of your fixes. I would say that I don't know what their enhanced platform does. They might say We've done all of this, and that's great." I do think that they've done most of the hard work. Backend is
mm.
hard work. Um, this is interesting. So modular. Is that how you describe it? Tier two?
Um, I don't really know how to describe it. I was just going through, trying to pick up what makes things simpler. Because one of the things as well, I did read your thing about friction, and it was a case of, the worst thing you can do is make it harder to understand for the existing customers. So lots of the small pieces with, the refund badge so people actually know. Because if that's what's bringing it down to 1.5 stars, you should be able to know early to preemptively stop that poor rating, you know?
So explain that. Maybe I just missed it. So if there's a complaints on one service provider,
Yeah. So well, lots of the complaints is that they don't realize that you can't cancel, or you can't get a refund.
I see that in your design. That's free cancellation up to 24 hours before appointment. Is that a
Yeah.
change from their current policy?
Um, well, I think it would be case dependent. So it depends on the place, certain like restaurants and
It's
things,
like
or
Airbnb. It's like
yeah,
Airbnb. Okay, so yeah, just more transparency there. If they, are more generous with refunds, it might hit the financials in the short term, but it's long-term customer loyalty. Onboarding quiz, we already talked about that. That's freaking huge. I think that this thing can expand to happy hours, can expand to nightclubs, can expand to, they got out of goods. They've got, it seemed to be a little bit less on travel. Although
mm,
travel is a big component of it. Whatever it is, I think they could build all of that out by having agentic business development or onboarding by sending emails and just scouring the web. You could have NVIDIA's Nemo, or you could have some sort of, you know, just agent system going and reaching out to this business and being like, "Hey, I looked at your happy hour menu. I see you have half off beers. Would you be willing to throw in for a group of four, a free pair, like 12, 12 wings?" And
yeah,
then, or like 50% off wings as well. So it's actually the manager's looking at a suggestion instead of thinking like, like we could use more customers on Wednesdays, but, like, I don't know, I'll get back to this later, and they never do. Like, you want to have
mm,
the LLM read suggest to them. So they just go, yeah, sure. How do I sign up? Actually, you should probably say, oh, we already put this deal on there for you. If you want to think of others, that's great. Here's how you make an account. And or you'll as soon as they make an account, you already have sort of a you know, CRM type thing. So you recognize what the business is and you already have the first deal on there for them, including the email. That's how you build the supply side, in my
Mm.
view.
And as well,
Um,
like if you build that side up, it could become super really strong. But if it's not recommending it to the right people, if you still get, lit fuller recommended to you instead of a happy hour down the road, then that's what the onboarding quiz is for, to get the right deals to the right people. I feel like it all fits together
yes,
structured. So,
yes.
without the onboarding quiz, you're not going to get it to
You don't want it to
actual.
be so noisy that it's like, what am I looking at? Whale watching next to Microsoft Office, next to salt caves. Like this is almost like too noisy and says there's too
Mhm.
much supply. But in reality, it's like Airbnb. It should be at least. You know, you tell it where you want to have the experience. And in this new, age with social media, people are desperate for experiences in this new high inflation environment that, the Fed says is fine. It's not fine if you ask 90% of Americans and Europeans. So
Mhm.
this thing should sell. Now it needs to be more navigatable and probably needs a better map. Like local, okay, we're local. Where's the map like Airbnb? That's something that they can build out for sure.
Let me see what it looks like on my PC from England, because I've only looked at it on the app for my PC. Um, yeah, so it looks the exact same to you, but again, it's just stuff that I would never buy. Like I'm a student, and it's seeing if I want to do ice slides or a 30-minute, 60-minute, 90-minute massage.
Yeah, my brother just graduated college and his friends, and one of my ideas is having Groupon groups. Like, you pair up, it's your college friends in Manchester, London, or whatever, 21 to 25, they know that. And it should be suggesting happy hours and cheap ways to chop it up.
Mhm.
Should be like you guys, want to go paintballing, right? And yet it's not. And if you anything that is more networky, like a group, like you have a group on there, maybe there's AI suggestions in there, but you can also just share to the group. Guys, we get 30% off paintballing. When's the last time you've been paintballing? That would be sick, you know? What are we doing this weekend, sort of stuff. I think the AI concierge would be really easy to build. There's just so many low-hanging fruit. Like,
Mm.
it wouldn't be hard to do an AI concierge, or it wouldn't be hard to create a group system. And all of these are low cost, high, high margin. Basically, it's pure profit you're bringing in.
Yeah.
Deals detail page now shows the full cost. So let's see what it looks like now. Okay. Um, so there's a lot of numbers here, right? What is the actual cost? So it's what? It was 110, then it was 75, now it is 67.5. So it's 40% off. 60 with code mail. Like it's like, why are there so many numbers? Okay. I'm sure that they have some justification why that converts sales, but it's like you gotta expand. You got to expand here. Like you got to expand the imagination to think about, how do you make the average person like this? I feel like they're catering to a small subset that's driving the business now, and yet, you know, like I don't know. What do you think the marketing reason for this is?
Um, I I think they're trying to do the right thing in terms of give you the cheapest price possible, but I don't think they're doing it the right way. Like for me, this is with respect to them, this is what it looks like when I'm on, like a dodgy website or like buying £5 clothes off China. You know what I mean? It's always like TikTok Shop, for
It
example.
looks
It's
like
always,
like AliExpress from
yeah,
2016.
exactly. Like,
Yeah, it's really like, obviously there's a reason why they're doing that, but in order to get this thing the rating and the credit that they want, it's got to not feel like slightly, like ugh, like where am I? You know, do I really need to save this money? Yeah, because I'm poor. And it's kind of like you're like disgusted with yourself. It should be chill. It should be chill. And the number one way to do that, go on influencers. I got like, I got decent TikTok following, pretty good for my niche, extremely good for
Mm.
my niche. Um, I got influencers buying this stuff. You get some cool bros and some cool chicks, and all of a sudden they're talking about their Groupon experiences. All of a sudden, you're unlocking the young people. Young people don't know about this. It's like at lowest, millennials remember it when it IPO'd, and then it's mostly probably like boomer women.
Yeah, I'm 20 and I'd only ever heard the name. I'd never used it. I asked my parents. It was such like a brand that my generation doesn't know that I asked my parents if they had ever heard of it, not knowing how big it will have been 10 years ago, if you know what I mean. Like the name has
It
doesn't
used to
have
be
the
like
same
how
respect in my generation.
It used to be like how you would get into good restaurants. Like you would like be like Ticketmaster is ridiculous. I got to go on Groupon for these concert, and like we're gonna get six people anyway. It used to be insane. Now they're probably subsidizing a lot of that, but the value of the platform is so clear, right? Small businesses in the age of the megacorps are getting crushed. Young, not just young people, but 90% of American Europe, as I said, are struggling. Get them deals. And also, everyone's looking for experiences. Um, this map setting, I like it. It just looks clean. It just looks clean. And really, if we think about it, this is not that far off from their app right now.
Mm,
Um, I don't even know if you need to give all the deets until you click. But I
yeah.
see what you're doing. You're trying to solve a number one pain point. I think right here is good enough for them. And then, we can pick better. So management's talking about AI generated content. If they don't have something on their website, there should be an option to just like, okay, well, AI makes, a picture. Actually, I think that might be a little too far. We're just brainstorming here. We're just brainstorming.
Don't scare
Um,
the boomers.
what?
Don't scare the boomers too soon.
Yeah. So this is a really interesting point. So a lot of people go on the app and they get a really cheap massage. It's like 50% off, and then they're not realizing that um, basically the manager is just making their employee work for half off or something like that. And that's kind of messed up. So when
Mm,
you get something discounted, you should still tip. I think that this would help the people on the supply side that are actually working because management sometimes, they use their employees' labor in order to discount the deal, and that's kind of just not right. The business is getting the customer. They should understand, if you want to go in Google Ads and you want to run Google Ads, you might spend $70 to get a customer. Like, it could be 30 to $70. Versus on Groupon, you're paying whatever you're discounting to get that customer in the door. And because of your margins, you're not paying all of it, right? Um, so uh Man, it should really be framed better to management, like what the trade value prop is. Excuse me, for a business, like a small business. Hey, you could go on Google Ads. You could, try your hardest to make it most optimizable on a really crowded network and do the SEO and pay someone to do that. Or you can just offer good deals and rely on our network to drive you new customers, and you know exactly what it's going to cost per.
mm.
Um, the Klarna stuff. Uh,
I've never used Klarna, by the way, so I don't really.
I
It's
get a
just
little,
something that
I
I
get a
know
little
is.
worried about that, but it's clearly driving a lot. That's totally fine. I don't even know if they have um, Klarna
Is
on there.
Klarna big in the US?
Huge. Not for me, but huge. buy now, buy as a gift. Um, this is too much words. You cannot expect anyone to
Mm.
read this um, this much. It's just like too much.
And again, I
AI
just
customer
like,
review summary. That's good. That's
yeah.
good. You know, like quite frankly, that should probably be first and forward, kind of like Airbnb. And then all of this, information, like that's kind of like sending a 30-page pitch deck, you know.
Mm.
There should be a limit on the information. And people don't know any better. So by now, PayPal, I don't see Klarna. That would be an interesting thing. You always have to worry about it in the age of consumer debt. Um, Booking confirmation, yeah, it should just be like Yelp. Um, just smoother. I think that's the moral of the story. Smoother. And obviously, this is 6 hours in. To get it live, would take longer, but I just want to sort of, sum up here. One, Groupon, Mr. Dushan. That's actually how you remember say his name. Sorry, sir. I don't. I'm working on the pronunciations here. You got a motivated retail shareholder base. They're working their tail off and they just love the story. And you should reach out more positively to that because the hedge funds you usually deal with, they are not going to, they're not going to give you the leash to do what's in the long-term value for the most part. And most of them are just punting this on real-time data quarter to quarter, and it's absolutely stupid. So one, invite in retail and sort of, say, hey, we like you guys. Thanks for believing in us. Two, this took 6 hours and someone who did you just put Claude code in? Like how much Claude were you using before this design experience?
Um, just for I'd never used Claude Code ever, and I just use Claude day to day for research, university work, um, politics. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So they've cut headcount down a lot. I don't like the idea of just like, you know, it's like you want to stay a Groupon? All right. Well, each month do something. Go out of your way, be creative, right? You have the core assignments and you should have a budget to just, go and think and take feedback and see how we can solve and think like a startup company. Um, more speedboats. That's what Dushan has said on I believe multiple times, definitely the last call. He's like, there's some people you give them AI and they just go crazy, as you have. Um, and you honestly beat me to this because I was planning on doing this on Sunday, and all of a sudden I check my DMs and it's like, holy cow, this is actually pretty good. So anyway, we'll wrap it there. Adam, thank you so much. It's great to meet you and great to see the work that you've done. And I think potentially going to asset management, I don't know if it's equities, credit, whatever it is, thinking outside the box is like it's the number one edge. It's the number one edge. Like you're just like, how do I just make this better? Add value, right? That's awesome. Um, Thanks for zooming in late hours. Appreciate that.
No worries. Thank you for being interested.
Yeah, I think management will be, and the rest of the shareholders will probably rally behind this. I might unlock a little bit of like, let me try, and then it's just a snowball from there. So.
Hmm. Let me know if there's anything else you think we should try make.
Will be working on this
Cool.
offline. This is just opening salvo.